So, hello everyone, Monday, welcome to my review of Ballroom episode 14. I'm still have a cold here, so I might have some in my voice here, but I've tried to do this here. For once, the episode was released before midnight, so that happened as well. Anyway, I found it another great episode, another 10 out of 10, I would say. 9 out of 10, that's a very good episode. Not the best episode in anime ever, but definitely up there, like top 5 or so. I think everything in the episode was really good, I would say that. It was like the pacing was great. Everything made sense, right? Like, and I mean, when I mean everything made sense, I mean it made sense like production-wise. That each scene had meaning, each scene had a good dialogue. There was no meaningless, whatever dead space, dead time, whatever you want to call it. Everything was really good, basically. I think that's my main thing I want to say, really. Because first of all, we introduced why Chinatsu is bad at following, and that obviously makes a lot of sense. That's very reasonable. That, you know, if you start dancing at a young age, you mainly use a lot of girls, right? Yeah, a lot of young girls, not many young boys that want to dance, so you're gonna have to end up dancing with another girl, and then you might have to dance as a male, as a leader, and Chinatsu, being such a, like a, kind of a tomboyish, a little, definitely, a dominant personality, quite masculine, right, so to speak, of course she will end up being the kind of the male suitor for most of the girls in the class, right? That makes complete sense, so I like that. That place was pretty good. What they didn't explain was that her partner hates her so much. Coming to that later, but that was like, she really hates her. But I like that whole thing there, like we see her old ex-partner. So I think that was a great way to do so too. First they mentioned that, okay, yeah, she probably dances with girls, and blah blah blah. And then of course we get to see her ex-partner, and in the end she's one of the new opponents, right? She's one of the new adversaries for Tatara. So I think that was a really good way to kind of just redline the whole thing, right? It made a lot of sense, like just how it moved from this discussion, this revolution, this kind of, battle, right? So I think the whole thing was really good. It was a great setup, and every scene like had a purpose on it. It was a really good episode. The only thing I didn't like, which I wanted to have like a 9 out of 10-ish, is the cliche thing, right? It's the cliche thing, and that's like, I have to say it right there, like that. I really didn't like that. Because it felt like such a cheap way to write it. A better story, which of course is that Tatara needs to get part of Chinatsu. He starts working at this random place because he wants to pay for his lessons, which is something back from season 1. And that place happens to be where Chinatsu's ex-partner Komota lives, and her father owns this restaurant, and of course not only or suddenly he's working with Chinatsu's like ex-enemy partner, friend, rivalry, something like that. He also apparently is there that day she arrives with her old shoes to give to her ex-partner's sister, right? So it's like, man, that is a lot of stars aligned, and I did not like that at all. Like, I felt that was super cliche. The whole rivalry thing is definitely important, and that was wrong with that, and that's great. But I mean, that could have been done in any other moment. And that also would be kind of cliche to have to be this like accidental thing. But I mean, he could just walk by her, or like, I think I probably prefer if he went to her saying, "Dance with me." She's like, "No, I won't." They're like, "Where are you going?" "No, I'm gonna drop off all my shoes to like my old ex-partner because I'm not playing dance." He would follow her, say, "I come on, are you sure?" And then, and then her, because she's kind of a bitch, right? She would be like, "No, who's this boy? Your boyfriend or your partner?" Never, like that. And then she'd be like, "What? You can't dance? You can dance." And then they would trigger her and be like, "I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna beat you. I'm gonna be the best girl ever with this guy." So like that would also work, or whatever, right? But I felt like this thing here was like, he happens to work there, happens to work at her place, and so on. And that feels like a really cheap way to use, like, force him into the subject, right? Because the important thing was having him there, not really was working there. He might as well just enter that restaurant, because he was hungry. Like the only important thing was he had to be there when they were fighting. That was the only thing that mattered, really. So it could have been done at like school. They could have gone to school together. It could be done the same thing and so on, right? So yeah, I don't know. That also could be a thing. Like they could discuss this. Like he'd be, "Oh, trust me, that's me." And she'd be like, "No," and then she could overhear them and say, "Oh, you're gonna dance with this? Oh, she can't dance with you, boy. She can't be a woman. I'm the best woman." Yeah, that could happen. So I think it'd be a lot of other options to make it like a quick a quick scene, and then she's angry, right? Because the poor thing, of course, which makes complete sense. I mean, characterization-wise, it makes sense. So I want to say, like, I think it's like a 10 of that episode, except that they didn't like the actual writing that. Because I think otherwise, I think it was a really good scene, because it makes perfect sense as a character. She's very easy to provoke, she's a very aggressive person, right? She's a very tsundere, as you say, and of course, she's ready and everything, and it's like, the other woman telling her, you can't be a woman, I'm the only woman in this room. It's like, oh, I'm gonna show you, like that. Of course, that's gonna happen, right? And of course, that's, how can I get her to dance with me? I understand her. That's the easy way to do it. Just provoke her, tell her she sucks, and she's gonna try to, disprove you, because that's how she works. Right? I think that, so everything in that scene was great. I think that was a great scene in itself. But if you're looking at it, it's like, okay, why is she, why is he there? Or is it because he didn't work and he happened to work at her place? So that felt so forced. So I'm a little twisted, or whatever you call it, that scene. It's hard to say. I think the scene was great, but it also was bad in my opinion, like quite bad. You take the general premise of it was bad, but the actual execution and quality of it was really, really good, right? So it's like a little weird thing there. Anyway, the rest of the episode was really good, but that thing felt a little like, and also imagine if it works, that thing. Like, I was like, he probably should change his place to work. It's like, it feels like it would be kind of hard for him, like your partner. I don't know, not really girlfriend, but you kind of have the hint there in the end, and she's like, oh, you're pretty good, Tatara. Yeah, like, she was smiling at him, they doing this, like, nice little flirt with him. And it's like, you probably have a hard time working at her, like, enemy's stronghold. Like that. I was like, I probably should change that. But anyway, I said this thing when I was watching it, that is her and her partner, that the evil guy from the opening, like the main antagonist from the opening. And it clearly isn't right. I watched the opening again after it, looked on the screen, of course, on the black dress as well as his partner, and of course, it's Hyodous' mom student, which is gonna be this main antagonist, right? That being said, I have to say, I'm confused again. I think though that her partner, the guy in B class with her, he looked very similar though to the main antagonist guy, right? With this opening, I would say so. They have the same hair and everything, so. They look quite similar, at least in the short phrases on it, but yeah. But it's clear that it's Hyodous' mom's team. That's they're gonna be the main guys, and I'm guessing from the preview they're gonna go to her students, I don't know, her like studio or something, and dance with him or something like that. And then of course they're gonna be enemies or something, because he looks really mean, right? He looks really evil in the opening. Anyway. Best scene, for the dancing was definitely the pelvis scene. And I liked it, the man asked me to, because he was like, what, she forced me to that? And afterwards, of course, he feels violated, right? It's like, you sexually assaulted me. That's kind of, I'm laughing at it, but it's like a weird, it's like a weird feeling to it, right? Because they're dancing together, and she's like forced him into this weird position. He's like, that was really uncomfortable. You promised let me lead, and you led, and not only you lead, you kind of like violated my leg / my, that area with your area. I was like, yeah, I was kind of pushed him into him, and it was like, that was so awkward. Like, that's like a really awkward moment, right? For him, of course, and he's like, I felt you violated me. That's kind of how it went, and of course, we played for laughs. Like, it was like very played for laughs, of course. But I liked it. It was like it's really a cringe, kind of weird situation, of course. But the best thing with it, because she, as a character, and I really liked it, and obviously I like females like her because I'm biased, but I think it's really good as the way she did it. Like, she's like, she just pressed her pelvis in like an extremely aggressive way into his body, and like forcefully pushed him away with it. And he was like, that was so weird. And she's like, what? Weeding? Yeah, like that's not like her. Like, she's just Kira. She's like, huh? Talking about boy? That's the wind. Like, yeah, like, she doesn't matter. She could do this, she could do whatever, right? And it wouldn't matter to her when it comes to actually dancing and doing the best, right? She's like, I don't care what I do. If I press this body about me, like, whatever, yeah, that doesn't matter. We dance to win, right there. So I liked it a lot. She's like completely oblivious about it. It's like, what? Oh, you mean that thing? I didn't bother me. Why did it bother you? It's like, he's like, but it was really weird. It's like, yeah, so what? It's like, yeah, because for her, it's zero awkwardness, because she's so into it to win, right? But he's just like, that was, am I your boyfriend now? Yeah. For him, it's more like, what does this mean? Yeah. And then she's like, nope. Haven't even considered it. Yeah, that I think that's great. Great chemistry there. Oh yeah, I love that in the episode where we see Tatara, right, thinking about it. He's like, oh yeah, I can do this thing, and then I can be better friends with Suzuki and fix up her with her and Hodo, and that's great. I love that. See, like he's a nice guy, you know. He's a lovable guy, he has friends, and we see Chinatsu's standpoint. He's like, I'm gonna crush her, revenge. I love that. Like, yeah, his mind's like all butterflies, and everyone is friends with him. He's like, this will defeat them all. It's like, okay, they're kind of different. No, but yeah, generally a really good episode. I think everything episode was really good, except just the general plot then. But as animation-wise, I would definitely call it 10 out of 10 for an animation standpoint, right? I don't mean it's like animation. By animation, I mean like anime, I guess. It's a better word for it, because obviously that's in the manga, right? He's working there, so that's the material he had to work with, I guess. And I'm just like, I don't like it. So I felt that even though the other things also be kinda cheap, I would prefer that she used fight at school, and she would overhear it and be like, oh, she can't be a woman, like, yeah, like, take me instead, I'm a real lady, whatever, yeah, well, I'm just kidding, I have a better man anyway, like, something like that would feel better, I think, so, yeah, but I would obviously probably do the exact same, the issue with it. I haven't read the manga, but I'm guessing I would have pretty much the exact same issue with it in the manga as well. I'm assuming it's similar in manga. But if it's not, leave a comment below and explaining some difference in the manga. Maybe it's longer in the manga and so on. I can picture that, but I think it's probably worse in the manga, right? I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the stars line thing. It's kind of like a plot armor thing when a character just happens to be there, and she happens to enter that door. This happens to be there. It happens to be that place. And she happens to be there. She lives there, but she happens to stay there because talking about his posture and like yada, right? Oh yeah. Last point, I love that. And the lady was going through the bathroom. He's like, oh, bathroom was over here. She's like, oh, thank you. It's like super awkward, right? Because before you show he's so good at reading people, but that kind of like creeps out, right? Where someone is like having a stomach issue, and he's like, no. Do you have issues with stomach? I can help you with this thing. It's like, okay, thank you, boy. It's like, that's weird. That's weird. That's just really weird. Anyway, see you guys next week and have a great day.